The edible content, inspiring stories about you, among you. This podcast is proudly powered by Yahoo Digital. Let's share it and let's nail it. A very good morning and welcome from Ahmedabad. We are, right now with our new episode for the Edible Content Podcast. And as we all, deep dive into the content challenges and all those things, today we have a very interesting topic and we have a very interesting guest also. So we have today a guest from Australia who's, a very well known and having 20 plus years of experience, and he has a very interesting business firm name, Uplift 360. So that's an interesting name. So we'll have very good discussions around AI, how AI can be implemented for the business, and what are the challenges and what challenges can be overcome, and how businesses today, starting from today, if they are planning to implement this, how they can do it. So let's welcome our guest, and then we'll get started with our discussion. So we have Wes Towers from Australia. So Wes, I am welcome you on this podcast.
Thanks, Samantha. It's fantastic to be speaking with you today. And hello from Australia, everyone listening. Hopefully, you can understand my accent okay there.
So how are you doing today?
Yeah, very well. So it's 2:40 p.m. for me, and it's a nice sunny day out there. So the
Right.
seasons are starting to warm up for us. We enjoy the warmth. So I'm just outside of Melbourne, an hour outside of Melbourne. So
Yeah.
it can get quite cold here in the winter, and I'm pleased that's all finished and getting some sunshine now.
Okay,
So,
great to know
yeah.
that. So, Wes, today while we are discussing on a topic, decoding search everywhere optimization approach for a business in an AI era. So we know that AI has been, round the clock, and uh, businesses from all around the world, they are implementing, they are finding the ways how they can escalate through AI in their business and their industry. So before we get into that discussion and that amazing discussion, I wanted to know about your a little bit about your introduction, about your some few childhood memories, if you can share with our audience.
Yeah, look, so I got going way back as a child, and I suppose it's what led me into the career path that I followed was back when I was in primary school in grade five.
Right.
I designed the logo for the school. We had a new school being
Oh,
established, and there
okay.
was a competition to submit a logo design, and so I submitted my design, and it won the award and became the logo of the school, Clifton Springs Primary School.
Right.
And from there, I just really learned to appreciate design and felt it was something I was good at, just even
Right.
as a child.
Right.
And so when I eventually got older and was ready to choose a career path,
Mm-hmm.
I chose graphic design multimedia
Wow.
as what I studied at university.
Okay.
And back then it was the 90s, so websites weren't really there was websites, but not every business had a
Right.
website back then.
Right.
And so I got my first job in a marketing company in Sydney. It was the year 2000, and it was an award-winning marketing company. So the year 2000, it was the Olympics, so it was exciting, but
Right.
they'd never designed a website. This is an award-winning Sydney marketing company, never
Wow.
designed a website, only had one computer connected to the internet on a dial-up modem. We all shared an email address.
Mm-hmm.
So things have changed a lot in marketing since I started then in the year 2000. But
Right.
they won a project to design a website, and they said, "Well, right, you're the young guy fresh out of university. You
Okay.
better figure out how to build this because none of us know how to do it."
Mm.
And so they gave me that website project to work on, and I became their website guy. And from there, I've evolved into search engine optimization as well. So website search engine optimization. Started my business,
Mm-hmm.
and we used to call it search engine optimization, but I'm calling it search everywhere optimization now.
Oh, wow.
Because yeah, it's not just Google; it's the AI platforms, and it's changing the world, and it's
Right.
causing problems for some businesses and opportunities for others.
Very
And
true.
it's the masses of content that can be produced at scale. It's amazing what's happening, and your podcast, no doubt, has a lot of I realize it's fairly new, but it'll have a lot of interest because content really is so incredibly important, and to get it right,
Right.
it's exciting times.
Right. Very interesting journey, and you have shared, really like a, fairy tale, with nice storytelling. Interesting. Wes, if I ask you about your, biggest milestone till date, so what that could be?
The biggest milestone, well, I don't know. There's been lots of minor like successes
Right.
over the journey. I suppose fairly early on in my career, I was featured in the newspaper in Melbourne, the
Right.
Herald Sun,
Okay.
and that was that happened because they picked up a blog post that I wrote about storytelling in business.
Wow.
So a journalist read my blog post and called me up and said, "Hey, I love your storytelling insights. Do you
Right.
mind sharing a few ideas with us?" And so I did that and was featured in quite a big article in the business section of the
Mm.
newspaper. So that was a success, and
Okay.
yeah, it was by accident, really, because it was just off the back of one blog post that piqued someone's interest. So
Right.
that's the power of creating some content with some unique thoughts, because it was a different angle that the journalist hadn't thought of before. So
Right.
she brought me in for that article. So that, yeah, power of content.
Yeah, then that's really interesting and great to know about that. And Wes, if I talk about your business that you have the experience of 20 plus years, so can you share how has been that experience and that that you have gone through all these years and meeting different businesses from around the world, and communicate, you solve their problems. So how has been that journey with you?
Yeah, it feels as though our industry, as you would know, it changes super fast, and it's always done so because it's tech led, and so things change super fast. Expectations change fast.
Right.
The opportunities. But because we're in it every single day doing the work, it feels as though it just feels natural. The
Right.
changes. I mean, I've always said if I stopped at any point and then I tried to start a year later, everything would have changed. It'd be
Right.
hard to start again. But because I'm doing it daily,
Right.
it's natural progression. But the last 3 years, or roughly speaking, when AI started to take shape,
Okay.
it's accelerated the changes even greater than what they already were. So I've had to adapt business as a result of that, and make some changes about process and how we get things done, and streamline processes to get work done. The end result is the same for the client, but the process in which we do it is evolved, and it will continue to evolve. But
Right.
the yeah, new challenges as well, because it is so easy
Mm-hmm.
to create content, to create publish information.
Mm-hmm.
There's just an overwhelming amount out there, so you've got to find a way to break through and bring something unique and distinct that can surface in Google, if that's an opportunity, but also in the large language models. So you're fueling not only what the human readers might read, but you're fueling the website, the online experience that AI can learn from, and hopefully your business will surface.
Right. And if I may ask that, how has been your experience and observation as a founder and director?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I started the business, and I was completely naive to business as such.
Right.
So I had a great skill set. I
Mm-hmm.
knew what I was doing technically. I could design, I could build websites,
Right.
but I was always behind the scenes, in the dark room, so to speak, doing the work, building the sites, getting it done. Very rarely did I, well, while I was employed, was I client facing. So I think I went to only a couple of client meetings and
Mm-hmm.
didn't say anything. I was just there watching and observing and assisting
Right.
the business development people. So when I started my own business, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing from a sales standpoint or
Right.
presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know how to put a proposal together. All of these things I had to learn the hard way. So it felt like I started completely naively, but fortunately got through and started to learn what I was doing.
Ah,
It still feels like I'm learning. We're all learning, aren't we?
right. That's a consistency learning. And but it's great to know that you started from from doing job, and now you are founder and director and working since 20 years. So that's very great experience, we can say. And today we'll take full advantage of your experience to learn about this particular topic. So, as we now deep dive into our discussion, so I have first question for you. What has been your observation over the years with first, if we talk about search engine optimization, so how has been your experience, your observations about that?
So search engine optimization has been a strategy. Been a strategy to rank as highly as you possibly can for your selected keywords, which
Mm-hmm.
sometimes keywords confuses people. It's not just one word, but it's a phrase,
Yeah.
a few words put together.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone would select their keywords that they wanted to rank for, and they would do their SEO, search engine optimization, to rank as highly as they possibly could for as many phrases as they possibly could to get traffic to their website that's targeted, obviously, because they've selected the right keywords. And from there, you could track. So you could track your keyword improvements. You could see where you're ranking and see
Right.
the improvement. You could see the traffic improving,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see the sales as a result of that for end clients. So it was super easy to demonstrate the value to our end clients. But then when things started to change with AI overviews in Google, we'll just talk about Google for a moment.
Right.
There was less reason to visit the website sometimes. So if someone's researching a topic, they're
Mm-hmm.
getting the answer on Google. That means there's less reason to visit the website to get
Right.
what they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, there's less traffic, and therefore there's less results for me to show the end client. So it became a challenge because some of the clients we had for many years, and they would see regular improvements every month of traffic if you
Right.
were to measure purely by how many visitors to the website through
Mm-hmm.
Google. But then it started to go the other way, and the reason being because they're getting their needs met elsewhere. But
Right.
that, curiously, yeah, it didn't mean that their sales were diminishing. It just meant in the early phases of researching a topic, they
Mm-hmm.
were having their needs met elsewhere. But
Right.
still, people's brands were showing up in those AI overviews. And when people were ready to buy something, they
Right.
still need to engage with the brand. So they need to either go to the physical shop front if they've got one. Not all businesses do have one. If
Right.
it's a local business, they might do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or they will go to the digital shop front, which realistically is the website. It's the one area that you completely control online. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many spaces you can publish, and you should do, social media, etc. But those are noisy spaces, and every your message is diluted because it's there 1 second, and then the next second they've scrolled away. But as
Right.
soon as you can bring people into your world, the
Mm-hmm.
closer they are to a sales and a transaction being done and getting a real return on investment. So the SEO kind of became a challenge to measure the results,
Right.
but the end sales return on investment was still there.
Right.
So yeah, we're moving into AI, and we're now seeing, obviously, so many people are using AI to
Right.
research. They're having conversations with their phone. I do it all the time. Do you use your phone, have conversations with your chat GPT? And
Right.
it's like my counselor, my confidant. It's someone I run my all my ideas past.
Oh,
If I'm driving in the car and I have an idea, I'm talking to my phone and brainstorming an idea. By
wow.
the time I'm back to the office, I've got a series of notes collated,
Mhm.
ready to take action on it. It might be a blog post, might be something I need to do for a project, or it's transforming the way we use the online experience and use the tools. It's far more conversational now. So having the substantial content within your website to fuel the answers that AI is trying to find online, because it's pulling the information from somewhere.
Mhm.
Ideally, it'll be pulling it from your website, and your brand will be recognized, and you'll get the authority that way. So the change has been significant, and it will continue to evolve as we go.
Right, right. Very interesting insights and valuable, insight that you have shared with us. If I ask that, let's say, you have been observing about search engine optimization, and one way is the content. So, what are the common challenges and that you commonly find, or businesses that share with you when it comes to, content and search engine optimization and balancing both of them? So, what are
Yeah,
the observations?
yeah, because it is relatively easy to now produce content. That means there's a flood of kind of generic content, I would say.
Right.
So it's not adding anything unique or compelling.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, if, for example, people can sometimes get lazy with their content production. So they'll jump on their AI platform of choice and
Okay.
ask for a blog post, for example, or a piece of content,
Right.
and write it out and just copy paste it into their website,
Mm-hmm.
because it's quick and easy, and it reads well, and it sort of matches what they do. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just the average sum total of what everyone else has already said, because it's just pulled information from everywhere,
Correct.
collated it into a sequence of thoughts, and you've published it. So it's not adding anything unique, or it's not adding value. So in my view, every piece of content that you publish needs to add value to the intended audience.
Right. Right.
That it could be a unique perspective,
Mm-hmm.
or something that you believe wholeheartedly that it might be different to the rest of the people in your industry, or um, case studies, for example, that projects you've actually worked on that only you have done.
Right.
These sorts of examples, data, that research that you've done. You might do a poll and find out something that's worth sharing. It's worth sharing that poll data, the research
Mm-hmm.
information, because it's uniquely yours. You've done the research yourself, and you've published it, and potentially other people will learn from it and mention it. And that's even better when other people start using your information and citing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful for search engines, because it's passing authority to you as the leader in the field in which you work in. So
Right.
that's the benefit of content.
Mm-hmm.
Creating great quality content. If it's generic, there's no reason for anyone to ever
Very,
reference it.
very true.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great insights about that. And if I ask that, let's say we have at one end search engine optimization approach, and the other side we have a search everywhere optimization, especially for businesses. So, what difference that you find, and how do you differentiate between both this approach?
Yeah, so we're moving further and further to talk more about search everywhere optimization purely. And I know that's a frightening concept, because everywhere is a lot of places and it feels like a lot of work. And you certainly can't publish everywhere, but you can
Right.
certainly publish to the most viable platforms for your niche and your business and industry.
Mm-hmm.
And using the right tools, you can syndicate information far and wide. So once you've got a piece of quality content, a
Right.
message that's uniquely yours.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast, for example, say this is a podcast.
Uh,
It's a collaborative process.
right.
So we're both contributing value to the podcast. Then
Yes.
we share it across, and you'll share it to a multitude of um, podcast platforms and
Right.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But that can all be taken into sound bites and reels and repurposed. So once you've got quality content which a podcast can create, you
Right.
can then repurpose it into different mediums. And so
Yeah.
obviously on TikTok, for example,
Yes.
it'll
Yes.
be a video reel, and it'll be quite short, because
Right.
that's what the attention span
Mm-hmm.
copes with. But once you've got content, you can leverage it so far and wide, and that's your expertise. But from the the search everywhere optimization, all of a sudden you're showing up as the authority everywhere you possibly can. And so, YouTube is a massive platform in its own right. So much authority is built purely through YouTube. So
Right.
if people are brave enough to publish content there, sometimes people are a bit frightened and scared, and they'll say, they're uncomfortable with the camera and
Yeah.
talking and all
Very
of
true.
that. But
Mm.
it's really, if you can get over that barrier, it's a massive, massive win for your business, because
Very true.
firstly, it's free to publish on YouTube. You
Right.
might just invest some time, and you might need to buy a proper camera or whatever you need, a microphone, etc. But
Mm-hmm.
once there's minimal investment, and then it's just investing your time and effort to
Mm.
come up with something unique. And even better if you're leveraging a collaborative approach through a podcast. So you've got a guest and a host sharing broader messaging.
Right. Great perspective with, and observation that you have shared with us. And now, if I ask that, let's say we have this. today, if you see the search everywhere optimization and all those process, so what are some of the important factors that you have identified, especially for rankings? Like we have Google AI overview, we have Chat GPT and other platforms. So what are some of the important factors that are working as of today?
Anything that can build your authority is the best thing you possibly can do, because the AI platforms, for example, and that's where everything is going. I mean, even Google is using AI, and that's the future. So think of it as it's able to pull information from everywhere. So, and then it's able to combine that into its understanding of who you are as a personal brand or as a business brand.
Right.
So the more you can have published elsewhere and in the areas you don't necessarily control, there's more weight on that, because I mean, we all can say wonderful things about ourselves. But once you get great Google reviews, for example, or other people are citing your research material,
Mm-hmm.
all of that is being established as authority, and that's going to help you rank in Google and AI as well. So I suppose the search engine optimization,
Mm-hmm.
um, over the years, it got a bit of a bad name because people were doing black hat strategies. So they were finding ways to cheat their way to the top. And it would always work for the short term, but eventually Google would realize, hey, people are cheating here. And then they would penalize, either just downgrade the websites, or penalize them, even blacklist them if they were
Yeah.
incredibly
Very.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But those sort of cheating your way to the top doesn't work anymore. And
Right.
it's not even if there was a strategy that popped up that did hack your way to the top, it's
Mm-hmm.
a very dangerous thing, because as soon as the AI or the search engines find out,
Right.
you've got the risk of penalty. So it's not a great strategy for the long term. The quality of information and the content that you're proud of, if you're the basic rule of thumb, if it's a piece of content you're proud of, it's
Mm-hmm.
probably going to be a good piece for being ranked, being found, and hopefully for people to read it and or to watch it, depending on what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very important perspective that you have shared, that adding value through content with an intention that that particular content is solving a problem or solving a query for the audience, that 100% gains a lot of authority for a brand. So that's a very important perspective.
Yeah, I suppose the fear oftentimes with our clients, we build websites mainly for trades and
Yeah.
construction,
Mm-hmm.
and so a plumber, for example, they might fix broken toilets, for example,
Right.
and so people might be searching to, if they've got a leaking problem in the plumbing,
Yeah.
they might quickly search because they need an answer right away to solve the problem because there's a leak.
Right.
If your brand can show up when they're needing a solution to that very problem, that's powerful. The challenge that sometimes people think is, well, writing about a blocked plumbing
Right.
issue is kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is boring for everybody else who doesn't need plumbing, but for
Right.
someone who's having their lounge room flooded because there's water flowing everywhere, it's not boring for them. And
Right.
so that content is valuable for them. It's what
Mm-hmm.
they need right at their fingertips right away. And so
Mm-hmm.
all the tools are getting better and better at surfacing the right content at the right time for the people needing it. So the more you have touching on various points,
Right.
it might be DIY solutions to plumbing, but
Mm-hmm.
most of the time someone will search quickly, I need to stop the leaking, but then
Right.
they'll need to hire a plumber to come in and fix the issue long term. So the ideal outcome is to show up, solve the problem for the short term, but have your plumbing business show up, and they'll get the inquiry and have the business being done from that.
Right, and that's a very, very valuable strategy that you have shared with us. And Wes, if we see today with the rise of AI, what or how do you see the impact on generating leads for the business, and especially the rankings, and how do you see today with the rise of AI?
Yeah, it's well because it's easier for us to do this content marketing. It's
Mhm.
easier for everybody. So therefore, there's lots out there, and
Okay.
so it really is a battle to be found as the leader in your field. And some of the ways to help to do that is to niche. If you're too broad, it's very difficult to be the authority and expert in a very broad industry. But
Mm-hmm.
if you niche into something really specific, you can start to become known as the expert in that one niche or area
Right.
that you
Mm-hmm.
work in.
Right.
So, I mean, if you niche too narrowly, there's not enough work. But if you go too broad, your message is diluted too far, and you'll never be found. So it's getting that balance right. You
Right.
can niche in terms of the service offering.
Mm-hmm.
Also for local businesses, there's natural advantage there. If it's a service or a product that needs to be served locally, well, then all of a sudden you've got a limited group of competitors, and realistically, you only need to be better than your competitors. You don't need to be better than everybody in if you're a local business, better than other people in other places in the world,
Right.
because they need someone local to serve their needs. So depends on the nature of the business. So you can either focus on your local geographic region
Mm-hmm.
or your niched service offering,
Mm-hmm.
and then be found that way.
Right, and that's really very important. Going region specifics with the strategies, and creating content around that, that really helps to build local authority and trust within the our geographical area. So that's a very important point. And
Yeah.
if we see today, with the rise of AI, do you find that has it become easier for a business to become a brand and build authority and all those things? Especially when AI is there, do you think that trust factor has somewhere been compromised, or has it become easier? How do you see that?
It definitely is eroding trust to a degree, because people realize
Mm-hmm.
when they're uh, reading or watching a piece of content, they're realizing that it might not have actually been generated by a human, and therefore there's not really any thought behind it by
Right.
the person publishing. So there's that lack of trust that I'm seeing develop as well, particularly with younger people who are a bit more tech savvy. They'll realize, even my children, they'll see social media posts, and
Right.
they'll realize that's an AI video, and they'll know right away, well, that can't be trusted because it's AI. It doesn't mean it's necessarily right or wrong. It's still, the content might be right, but there's an erosion of trust. And these things are going to get better and better. The videos are getting more and more sophisticated, more and more realistic, less errors. We used to joke about the funny, there'd be too many fingers on a hand, or things that AI would, in terms of imagery or videos, things
Yeah.
were not quite right sometimes. But
Right.
that's getting less and less. It's just so sophisticated, and I can imagine in a year or two, it's going to be indistinguishable from the real thing sometimes. So that's going to present challenges. I think the opportunity right now is to establish your credibility and authority in the industry right now, whilst
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
things are more genuine.
Right.
Later, in a few years' time, it might be difficult to build that authority and trust, but we've
Right.
got an opportunity right now to start to create that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a really important point, that this is the great time and this is a golden era where you can build your brand before the things get more complex and difficult. So that's a great thing. Uh,
Yeah.
Now, as shared earlier also about search everywhere optimization. So can you share some use cases around with AI, how search everywhere optimization is making its space uh, comparing to search engine optimization?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a great example. A client rang me the other couple of weeks ago now,
Okay.
and said, I just wanted. He just said he left a message because it was late. I just want to talk to you about the outcomes from the SEO that you've been working on. And I thought,
Right.
oh, I think I knew they were good results, but I didn't know if he thought they were good enough.
Yeah.
So when we spoke the following morning, and he said, "Look, I just won a massive contract, $140,000 contract, and it was simply because he showed up as the expert, as the very best. He's a consultant.
Right.
he won a consulting project because they were looking for the very best consultant of his type in Australia.
Right.
Now, this was a company, like, Australia is a fairly big landmass.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's quite small, but it's actually quite large. And so
Mm.
it was a plumbing client in a completely different region, like a fairly long flight away.
Right.
But they wanted the very best in Australia, and ChatGPT said that he was the best. So
Mm-hmm.
he won the $140,000
Wow.
contract. So they're the massive wins if you get this stuff right. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so that's the power. It can be sometimes challenging because in these AI platforms, they're not necessarily visiting your website as a result of reading about your business, because they don't, so it's therefore it's not really so trackable. But
Mm-hmm.
he was asking the question, hey, how did you find out about us? And they elaborated on what they were having a conversation with ChatGPT, and
Right.
so he found out. So I think it's important to have those conversations with your new clients and just find out how they did find you, because sometimes it's not what we just assume. It can be
Right.
quite different.
Mm.
And the other interesting thing too, it's really not linear. I mean, it was never completely linear, but
Very true.
people have multiple touch points. So they might be
Right.
seeing you on YouTube, and then they might see you on TikTok, and then they might see you on Facebook, and then they might see you on ChatGPT
Yeah.
conversations, and then they might eventually go to your website, and then they might make an inquiry. So they've had all these touch points of different content. It's almost like they already know you. By the time they make a phone call, and
Mm-hmm.
I find this myself,
Right.
I know half the time, I can sort of sense a lot of the time
Mm-hmm.
that they've seen a lot of my material
Right.
simply because they're talking to me as if they already know me. And
Right.
it's our first conversation. And it's because they've seen my video, or if they've seen lots of videos, or they've seen my material, they've seen my photograph, they've followed me for a little while
Mm-hmm.
before they've made an inquiry. So already there's a relationship starting to form, and there's trust. They
Right.
already understand some of my beliefs and understanding, and my values of what I contribute.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're starting to, it's not such a hard slog to win their trust in that first sales conversation, because they already know and like something of what we're providing. So that's the beauty of the content marketing and publishing everywhere. So search everywhere optimization, and creating multiple touch points.
Right. And interestingly, it's also very important to, keep testing and trying different things, what works for your business, what works for your industry, what works for, the services or the products that you are, focusing. So that's also very important, as you already shared with that. So,
Yes.
this, if a business wanted to start from today, implementation of AI, so what are the top five things that they should keep into considerations?
Yeah, and I know it can be sometimes overwhelming. Certainly for our clients, it can be overwhelming because a lot of the time the founders, they're being working with trades and construction a lot of the time. They're practical people, they're hands-on, they build things, they make things, they fix things with their hands. They're not
Right.
sort of computer people, not
Mhm.
technical, not tech people. Very, very smart, but not computer people.
Yeah.
So it can feel overwhelming, and therefore, what happens is they'll sometimes ignore these
Mm-hmm.
things. So
Mm-hmm.
for those people that are really reluctant to start, I would say just get ChatGPT and start to use it just for fun, just for experiments, to
Mm-hmm.
understand what other people might be doing, just to get an understanding of what things might look like for the future, just to break the ice a little bit. And once people, I find I've had that conversation with a few people, and once they sort of start dabbling with it, they realize, hey, it's really useful, and it's not
Right.
necessarily all that difficult.
Mm.
And you can get more advanced, obviously, in the custom GPTs and everything as well. And
Yeah.
there's specific AI software and so on, and all that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. Sometimes it's for that level, it's better to bring in experts who really know the cutting edge of these things. But just to get a grasp of where things are moving, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's important just to get started on a basic level. So that would be the most highest priority. So
Right.
that would be the first one, and the second one would be to think about the different. I think business people and founders should focus on what they do best
Okay.
and the
Mm.
value that they can bring, as the leader of the industry, but they
Right.
don't need to be the technician in every single aspect of business. They shouldn't be. They should be delegating it to a team of experts. Some
Right.
of those experts may be in house in their office, but a lot of the time they'll be external parties. So people who specialize in different fields. I mean, you wouldn't try and do your own really serious legal documents. You would go to a lawyer. Same
Right.
thing if you're going to get, in my view, to get a website. You can do it yourself, but it will only be sort of 80% right. There'll be missing pieces that you just haven't got quite right, and the opportunity lost for not having things as polished as they could be. I mean,
Right.
who knows how much the cost is to get things wrong in that space. A cheap website can be a really expensive thing in that way. Other tips. So I think to think about in terms of content marketing,
Mm-hmm.
I would always say make sure it's unique. Whatever the piece is, the original piece is uniquely yours and has your own flair and style and your own thoughts in there. But
Right.
don't leave it just to the one piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
Think about ways in which you can repurpose that one piece
Right.
and have it syndicated broadly. It might be chopped into different sequences and reworked to be suitable for different platforms.
Right.
But don't think of the one piece as a standalone. Think of how you're going to maximize its impact far and wide. And that's where you can start to leverage the benefit of having team members to help you do that. You don't have to do all that heavy lifting. I mean, I don't read all the comments or even follow or even look at all the posts that go out as our business,
Mm-hmm.
um, because that's unnecessary. I've got team who publish, and they're generally, well, all of the content comes from my initial thoughts and ideas and so on. But then the team go ahead and rework that to make sure that it's useful everywhere. I
Right.
think they're the key tips. Um, did I miss anything? I don't know.
No, so you said a very great point, and especially what I can summarize from this perspective is that it's very important to not just try different things at this stage, but whatever you are perfect at or whatever you're good at, just go deeper into that. With respect to any industry that we are focusing, it's always better to go deeper, because every industry has a lot of depth. It's all about how we find out and how we see for that industry. So that's very important point. uh,
Yeah.
and Wes, now if we see today, as per your observation, there are so many industries today. So which are some of the industry that you see that where AI has been the center stage now?
Yeah, so I mean, the AI is influencing the desk-bound jobs the most right now, obviously because it's all through a computer. So anything that's done on a computer can be
Mm-hmm.
enhanced by AI right away. But
Right.
I mean, there's a conference that's coming up that I'm trying to get to in Sydney,
Okay.
AI for construction. So they're going to be looking at obviously running your business and automations and all of that kind of stuff. But I've seen
Mm-hmm.
interesting things about the building process even. So
Right.
we're having yeah, I saw like it's almost like a digitally printed
Right.
um, house.
Mm.
So it's not far away that AI influences every aspect of business. So I think it's important to leverage to its capability right now with a view on where things are going for the future, and to make sure you can maximize those to your benefit.
Right. That's really great, and very important to know that industry specific, from the industry specific perspective, if we see that how AI use cases are coming into effect and how we can implement, so that's a very important point. And before we end this interesting conversation, my last question for you is that how do you see that, what are some of your observation and experiences when we see that there is a volatile economy, so how businesses can stabilize, if you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, and so we've seen that a lot because right now in Australia there's a cost of living crisis really. So a lot of people who were flourishing and had an abundance of money to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever they wanted. We're seeing more and more people are really quite struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's affecting businesses, because if people haven't got money to spend, it affects where they're spending their money, and the businesses suffer. And then the businesses who do business with businesses, B2B,
Right.
eventually everyone kind of suffers when there's crises of financial implications. So, and we saw that with our ideal clients of the trades and construction. We had a massive boom period a few years back where everyone had an abundance of work.
Right.
People were turning away work just because there was so much. Now things have changed really fast. So construction businesses, they're going out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Construction costs went up, and therefore things became not viable. And some people got caught in the middle because they'd estimated quoted jobs,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden the material is much more, and then they can no longer trade and so on. So I
Yeah.
think right now it's important to think about setting up structures and strategies that will stand the test of time for the long term, and think about what the future might look like in your industry, so you can ready yourself now and put the measures in place to
Mm.
operate as lean as you possibly can,
Right.
but as profitably as you possibly can, so you're not caught out when things change, because they will change.
Very true. Yeah, that's a very important. And Wes, like we are at the end of this conversation, so any final thoughts for our audience that you would like to share?
No, I think it's been a great conversation. Thanks so much
Uh,
for taking the opportunity. I mean, if anyone wants to connect personally, they can visit my website, uplift360.com.au.
mm-hmm.
That's our business, and even my personal LinkedIn is on that page. I'll connect with anyone. Also, all the regular social media accounts you'll find there as well.
Right. Thank you so much. And finally, before we end, so any book suggestion that you would like to, share with our audience?
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I mean, my own book. If I can, if I can self promote, I don't know if that is that
Simple
becoming obvious.
Manifesto. Okay.
Yeah, Simple Manifesto. I wrote that a while back, and I was even interested. I wrote it 10 years ago, and I
Right.
thought, oh, maybe it's outdated. So I was just skimming through it, and
Right.
thought, oh no, these principles actually still apply, and potentially even um, apply even more so now
Right.
with what it is. So obviously that's shameless self promotion, but I was just flicking through it just before. So
Right.
it's on Amazon, and it's physical copy or ebook.
Right, right, right. And I'll share with the audience also that when we publish this episode, we'll share all the links that you can directly contact with the Wiz, and to know any of the things, any business relations, any business collaborations or anything. And we'll also share there's a book, interesting book, Simple Manifesto book, and we'll just see how that book is already there. And at the last, very last, how you came up with the Uplift 360 name. That's a really interesting name.
Yes, yeah. So we rebranded to that name a number of years ago now, and so it was about, because we build the website, but we're trying to uplift it to be seen and be found
Right,
continually from every angle. So the 360, every angle, but uplifting. So constant, continual improvement and reaching far and wide. So the 360 kind of was how we came up with that idea. So yeah, even more relevant now. Again, the 360, the search everywhere optimization. It's kind of where it's all moving to.
Wow. Such a thoughtful, business name. Great. Thank you so much, Wiz, for your time, for your valuable insights, and sharing every details of the, search everywhere optimization and all those things. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amant. It's been great.
Yeah, so friends, we'll end this conversation here, and we'll soon meet with one of our another guest with another interesting topic. So till then, stay tuned with us, and we'll see on the next part of this. Thank you so much. Namaste from Ahmedabad. Thank you.
The edible content. Inspiring stories about you, among you. This podcast is proudly powered by Yahoo Digital. Let's share it and let's nail it.